talk about fear and discouragement. If gang stalking was a machine, fear would be the fuel that propelled it. Anticipation is part of the targeted individual's existence. They're always looking over their shoulder, wondering when and what is going to happen next. You just never know. It might be aggressive, it might be passive. It's hard to say. And, that's just part of the game. And, I was looking into the Lutheran Synod again. That's very interesting. It's a well-documented case of gang stalking. They have a little bit of different terminology involved in their breakdown of the scenario. The group actually called themselves the Machine. And I think it started in the 1980s. And they would actually refer to themselves as the Borg. Resistance is futile, kind of a thing. And, there's a lot of tactics involved in, what they did that targeted individuals deal with. There was, the street theater, the gaslighting, all kinds of things. And fear was used to demoralize. Okay, they would actually send people in to befriend their target, to get info, see what would bother them, kind of profile them, and the biggest fear that they had. Because I think that, looking at this, looking at fear in general, I think that targeted individuals have to deal with fear, okay? But, I think it's fair to say that I think that these people fear you in some way. And in the Lutheran Synod, if someone didn't react to the harassment, if they were calm and collected, if they were, independent in their thinking, not someone who would just go along with the in-group, they were afraid of them, literally. And sometimes they would be targeted just because of that. And maybe you're in that position. You're an independent thinker. You don't follow the crowd. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's why you were selected. We don't know. That's hypothetical. But, fear is definitely a factor when it comes to gang stalking. Some of the, the street theater that targeted individuals deal with is pretty aggressive, And I've talked about before that, there's that foreshadow stage before the targeted individual starts to experience that in-your-face, obvious, you're being hunted down harassment. And some of that stuff, can put suggestions out there, that can make the targeted individual fear. We're going to do this, or you never know, something like this might happen to you, or, yeah, you're going to go crazy, or we know you're crazy, or, all kinds of little suggestions, for that crescendo effect. And the point I'm getting at is that, and I've talked about this a lot, if someone just wanted to kill you, they could shoot you, they could blow you up with a bomb or something, right? But this is, completely different from that. There's a lot of entertainment involved. There's a lot of that foreplay. It's like being hunted down by a bunch of cats. And I like cats. Don't get me wrong. I've got one. You guys know that. In fact, she's sitting right next to me right now. But you know how they are. They are instinctual hunters. Anything jumps or moves, they're on it. And if they catch a little mouse or something, they're not just going to kill it. Oh no, that'd be a waste. They want to play with it as long as possible. The poor little thing usually dies of a heart attack, if not blunt force trauma or anything else. And it's like that for targeted individuals. You're being toyed with. You're being played with. They're feeding off that fear. And there's a lot of people out there that have speculated a lot of different things concerning, the motive of these people. They're a lot like vampires. They are. They come in and gaslight you, and they take their time, and they do it repeatedly. Repetition is another thing that was used in the Lutheran Synod, and targeted individuals deal with that. Right? There's that little game, and I've talked about that before, where it just depends on the gaslighting that you're dealing with, where you'll be knocked down, okay, and then the people around you that are involved will actually kind of try and help you up. They might pretend like they're your friends. They love you. They'll talk about, oh no, we care. We do. But really, they're just feeding off you. They want to get you back up because it's just no fun to kick someone who's curled up in the fetal position on the ground. And it's just part of the game. It's part of the demoralization tactic. Yeah, there's a lot of tactics involved in gang stalking. And the fact that we all share similar traits, well, some of them are generalized. Some of them are kind of universal. But, after looking into, the Lutheran Synod and the things that I've experienced, and I've had a lot of experience with gang stalking, they can be personalized as well. Okay, I've talked to a lot of people. I've experienced a lot of things. And not everybody gets the same little triggers and stuff like that. Okay. There's variations to this stuff. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. Like I said, there's entertainment involved in gang stalking. The whole process is so drawn out. It's like they're creating a little soap opera. The people that are involved in, I've talked about a lot of different facets of gang stalking and how it can manifest in lots of different ways, and how, some of the people are being influenced spiritually. Other people are, influenced by social dynamics. Other people are influenced by money. Other people are influenced by, their own sick, sadistic motivations. And it all comes together, believe it or not. All of it. And when I talk about, the spiritual aspect or whatever, you cannot isolate, that reality from these other things, whether it be the government programs that we know about, the secret societies that use these types of methods to control, society and communities of people, or, the sadistic pleasure that, people that are involved in this stuff, get. They get their rocks off by, playing God or whatever. And there's all kinds of things that play into this stuff. Victimizer syndrome. That's an interesting one because, you always wonder, are some of these people former targeted individuals? In the Lutheran Synod, they had a problem with that because, especially in a religious environment where you have, this antinomianistic behavior that is separate, from the commands of Christ to love your neighbor, and you don't want to bear false witness, and here these people are doing all these things that are completely opposite. And, it would just demoralize people. And, but, a lot of people that were attacked and experienced that mobbing from the machine, well, they were infiltrated, or I guess not infiltrated, they were assimilated into that system. And I think that there are people out there, because I've heard the comments, and I've heard, a lot of stories, and, some of the things, even street theater, maybe even directed conversations, allude to things that would suggest people were, former victims of harassment. I don't know, some of the things that are said, by people who do the street theater or the directed conversations or the little suggestions are almost like warnings, And, it could be there to try to, I don't know, assimilate the victim, kind of brainwash them a little bit, because there's always the demoralization involved. But it sure seems like these people have experienced some of that stuff. Just pay attention to the comments. They tell you that you don't want to fight the system, you can't fight the system, or you better keep your mouth shut. I've had that one a lot. You can win the battle, but you can't win the war. And you can tell that these people, they've been demoralized by the comments they're making. Even if it's meant to brainwash you, or try to get you to be compliant or whatever. I mean, you can tell that there's demoralization involved. Okay, and that's part of the methodology too. All the things that are involved in gang stalking are demoralizing. They're very discouraging, and it's a cumulative. That repetition that I talked about. That's there for a reason. I don't think that it's just sadistic entertainment, because, repetition, it's almost like a communist manifesto. You have to do these things over and over until people are demoralized and, programmed to where they do not see any point in resisting. Okay? It's almost like they're testing you out when they're playing these little games. And, like I said before, there's fear involved, not just for the targeted individual, but I think, for the people that are doing this to you, especially if you're that person that just keeps getting up, And they talked about that in the Lutheran Synod as well, that there were people, who were very resilient. They didn't react to their methodologies. They wouldn't conform at all. And some of the people were targeted just because of, they weren't even a threat or anything. They were just independent people. And then they were dubbed as moles. And they were, kind of discredited in a lot of different ways, to the point where it made them look like they were trying to infiltrate the machine and expose the truth about all the things that were going on. And, that's another thing too, because, if they can't do that to you, if they can't get you to conform, if they can't get you to play along, what are they going to do with you, right? What are they going to do? It's not that all this is about conformity, but I think it's part of it. There are people involved in this stuff who were former targeted individuals. You could just tell. And you can see in the targeted individual community, people, moving in that direction. They start attacking each other. They get in all these petty little squabbles all the time. And, I can understand, people, attack me on the channel sometimes, and I'm tempted to, get into it with them. But, it's not worth it. I'm not that dumb. Okay, I'm not. I'm not gonna play that game. I've talked about that before, where, the targeted individuals are provoked. And, it's like, playing one of those video games where you're dealing with all these zombies. And they're coming at you. And a lot of times, rather than to, kill them and, smash them until they can't come after you anymore, you just gotta move around them. They're pretty slow. They are, And, if you don't have to waste bullets on them to get to the next level, that you win. And that's kind of how I look at some of these people that I get attacked by. because that's just the way it is. I think that they're just activated. However, however that works out in your scenario, and some of these people you just have to avoid them. Getting back to the discouragement and conformity aspect of this whole thing, you know about this stuff now. You're not walking around blind to all these things. You've been awakened to a lot of different realities that you didn't know about before. And if they can't get you to conform, what the hell are they going to do with you? Right? And, I think they just want to drive you crazy, have you committed, or get you to, harm yourself, or, do something to somebody else so you get thrown in prison. I mean, there's really nothing else that they can do. Even if you're one of those people that are being experimented on, well, the rat in the cage isn't supposed to know that it's in an experiment. You do. That's a problem. I think the end game, even for people like that, is pretty much the same. What are they going to do with them? They got to get rid of them. They can't just let you run around knowing what you know. And getting back to the demoralization, the discouragement, targeted individuals need to remember that even though everything in this life is, possibly being taken, at least temporarily, there's still hope. You have to hold to that biblical promise, okay? And, I hope, I pray every day that these things will be exposed. It would give me great satisfaction to see this stuff come to light. When I saw Havana syndrome in the news, I was pretty excited about that. When people found out about the chemtrails in Arizona, Mojave County, I was excited about that. But you know how the government works, unfortunately. They can just bury this stuff, put it under the Patriot Act or whatever. And, even if it doesn't come to light, even if we don't get, vindication, before Christ returns, it's going to happen. And you have to remember that, and also, just know that when you do keep getting up, moving forward, as a targeted individual who's experienced things that have probably demoralized the people who were attacking you to the point where, they gave in. I mean, look at it. Look at it for what it is. The people you are dealing with, they're on the other team. They've gone to the dark side. And, you haven't. The very fact that you're being harassed, you can be glad about that, even though it seems kind of weird, is that, you don't beat a dead horse. Just the very fact that you are experiencing harassment should give you hope. You're not one of them. Even though you might not have an easy life, and it seems like, they're not dealing with all the strange, agitating circumstances that you're, dealing with. Well, they're going to, I always used to get a kick out of that. I would run into people that would talk about spiritual things. But when it came to, the kingdom of darkness or the devil or whatever, don't say anything about that. Mum's the word, and they'll get you. But then they would, blaspheme God or whatever. It's like, are you serious? It's just contradictive. These people are contradictive on every level. And that's, a dead giveaway as to what's happened to them. They don't even make sense. They've been assimilated. Their minds have become dark. Not you. So you have to remember that. And I think they are afraid, especially when you just keep getting up. It's a testament to what they could have done, but were unwilling to do. And I think that a lot of the hate that comes at targeted individuals is generated from that. They're probably envious of you. You haven't given in. You haven't assimilated. Stronger than they are. They don't like it. Guys, be good to yourselves. Be safe.